Papa Bear and Big Dog Rocks podcast. Big Dog Robert Scott. Papa Bear Craig Bland. Welcome to the show.
That was rad.
That was awesome. That was cool.
All right. Yeah, thanks. That, by the way, folks, that's our first time playing the intro with THRU Society. So they get to hear it. And that's our new intro. And we even have an outro that's just as cool. So, yeah. And it was done by, and we're giving a shout out to Brian Carmen with the band We Are Resolute. And he has Dale Thompson sing for his band. So I don't know if you're familiar with Dale Thompson, but he sang for Bride.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Brian's a friend of ours, along with Paul and Nert from Road Less Traveled, which we've also been on their podcast show. And so we both our podcasts like to have some of these rock people on here. So
yeah,
that's how we like it.
Rock people.
That's how we like it. Rock people.
That's who we are.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, we got THRU Society with us. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
There. Perfect. Oh, awesome. I see you finally filled the space over there.
Yeah.
Great. Well, look, we've been following you, and Rob will tell you that too. We've been watching you and seeing what you're doing, all your new music, and it's really sounding awesome, top notch. I want to see you guys in concert, and I will. Kingdom Come Festival, I had bronchitis.
Oh, no.
And I just was not feeling it, I was coughing my brains out.
Yeah.
So I just said, forget it. I'm not going. But yeah. But I really wanted to come and see you, but I said, nope. I judged better.
You gotta take care of yourself, for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to see you eventually. I know we will.
Yeah.
We saw, or I should say, I saw Autumn Eve this weekend. I was, and yes, North Carolina. I was at Hickory, North Carolina, with Breaking Darkness Music Festival.
Awesome.
And it rocked. And so awesome. I was hanging out with Autumn and Matt Sassano, and we had a good time. And yeah, and Tricord. I know them because of Kingdom Come Festival.
Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah, and so we're gonna have to see you one of these days. I'll keep. I'm always looking where you're going, and sometimes what I try to do is see how close you are to me. I'm in Virginia. I'm kind of central to a lot of the places that y'all go to. Yeah. So I try to keep my eyes open for when you're coming around. So, yeah, you got some new music. So tell us about this this new album and whatever you want to talk about related to that.
Yeah. So it's the album's called Thresholds, and it's an album that basically kind of just tackles some really hard topics, hard situations that can really happen in your home. Like your home is supposed to be your safe haven, your safe place where you can be yourself, vulnerable, and a lot of times things come and attack you where you're most vulnerable, like domestic violence, dementia, infertility, miscarriage, anger, and like all those things are kind of like attacking you in your safe place. And so we chose the name Thresholds because there's a lot of, it can be a metaphor for, your heart. Like the kind of verse that we had along with the album was in Proverbs. It says, like, above all else, guard your heart, for above it, for out of it, from it flows. But out of it flows the wellspring of life. And so it's like Thresholds is a metaphor for your personal heart, but it's also like a metaphor for the door of your home. You know, like what you're letting into your home when you're faced with things of darkness, evil. Are you going to choose to believe the promises of God, or are you going to choose to live in fear and pursue that? So, yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. You know what? I want you to just for those that are new to Drive Through Society, you guys have been on before when it was just me, but we got my buddy Rob now, and yeah, the big dog, and we got him. He is, by the way, a wrestler, and yeah, he can tell you about that.
Yeah, I'm an independent pro wrestler. I've been doing it for the past 24 years.
Wow.
I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'7.5", so I'm a giant midget. But I've taken on guys a lot bigger than me. I've taken on a guy that was 500 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
I've taken on guys taller than me. Not too many smaller than me. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How many bones have you broken?
knock on wood, I've only cracked 3 ribs.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
I thought I destroyed my shoulder last September. I landed wrong, and I turned instead of landing in a certain way. I turned my shoulder and thought I was going to hit the maneuver a little bit better. And when I hit it, my right arm went totally numb on me. And I'm like, great. And I was defending the title at the time, and I knew I was done. I just knew I had no choice there. I had nothing left in me. I gave it my all, and I knew, my opponent was fresher than me, quite a few years younger than me, because I'm 53. I think he's like in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. So he had some years on me, the fresher years. So
Yeah. So you zigged instead of zagged? What you're saying?
yeah, I zigged and zagged, and then I crashed and burned. I will say it that way.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, no, he's really in good shape.
But I'll tell you guys this. A lot of times when I'm traveling, because I live just outside of Buffalo, New York, and I travel to Ohio, I listen to bands and stuff, and you guys are on the top of my playlist right now.
Thank you.
You guys sang a special song that means the world to me, and that's To Know You.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I went through that exact thing.
Yeah. I'm so
And just to hear that, even though we've adopted both our kids, and we wanted so badly to have kids, and it just wasn't happening. And, just to hear that, and just to know, to understand what you're singing about. And it's like, I get it. And just to say, I'm blessed by that song. And I know that's going to bless a lot of people.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a hard one, but it's definitely already ministered to quite a few people who've also gone through that. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm supposed to be this tough guy, but let me tell you, sometimes I let this be the soft side, as my daughter lets us say. She goes, Daddy, when I was putting my arm, that was the day you stopped being a tough guy, wasn't I? go, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 pounds,
Yeah,
12 ounces of her.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
Well, thank
See,
you.
you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
a great
welcome.
story. Yeah, it's good to know that your music's having an impact. You know,
Mhm.
and even I was saying this. I was just talking to my wife, and and I thought I would bring this up, not just with you guys, but with other bands. I was talking to Autumn Eve about it, actually. And my wife is Navajo and Native American.
Mhm.
And there is a burden, a great burden for the young people in the indigenous world, okay? There's a lot of sexual abuse. Uh, there's just violence, drugs, alcoholism. and these young people are growing up with it, and the suicide rate is through the roof with them. And you know, I used to see it when we lived out in New Mexico. It was prevalent everywhere. And I'm going to tell you, these young people don't have hope out there. So I really think, and maybe you guys can, look, this was in New Mexico, by the way. You're next door. if ever, what I'm going to try and do is find out if there's a way for churches or other people to contact you to get you out there.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really think that there is a real special need for bands like yourself that can go out there and reach them, because it's literally a mission field out there.
Yes.
I'm telling you that, and I saw it every time I was out there. I just said, "This is sad." I mean, it would break your heart, some of the stuff you would see and know about. So,
we've even playing festivals this summer. We've ran into a lot of very hard stories, and got to pray with a lot of people. But we're just grateful for the opportunity to be a tiny part of what God's doing and how He's ministering to His people. So if there's an opportunity for us to get out there and love on the people of God, we would love that.
And that's part of the reason, it's the way our songs work. We want people to feel that they're not alone through these life. And
Yes.
part of being like a Christian is knowing that you don't have to always be tough. You can be vulnerable because if you're tough all the time, and I'm not trying to pick on you. I was just thinking while you were talking that the whole point of the Christian life is that God laid down His life for us. And so if we're trying all the time, trying, it's not going to work, because He's the one who made the way for us. And if we don't have this recognition that we can't make it to heaven by ourselves, we have to give up our struggles and our walls to allow us to be vulnerable with them, right? So I think part of the great thing about our music is that we're opening up those doors, or that our goal is to open up these doors for people to feel that they can be vulnerable with us through these hard
absolutely
life, and we're not trying to create walls or any sort of boundaries.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, that's why you guys are on top of my playlist, because it's great. I mean, like I said, when I'm traveling, I love listening to the younger bands. I mean, nothing against the older bands, but you guys are what's the future in this industry. And I'm putting, my prayers and anything I can do to support you guys right behind you, because, when you can get an old guy like me, it's, it's got those tender moments, I call them, and stuff. And it's great to be able to, like you said, let the walls fall down and let stuff come in. And that feels so, that's why I love this music and stuff, So you guys are great. And I'm glad to call you my friends more often, my brothers and my sisters.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, Rob and I both grew up probably on the old metal. Yeah, Striper, Baron Cross, some of the White Cross,
Jerusalem.
Yeah, actually, White Cross. I told Rob this. Rex Carroll, we have a connection. He and I.
Cool. Nice.
And this is how we have a connection. My best friend, who was a drummer in my rock band back when I was young and I had hair down to here. Okay. Both Dave and I were best buddies, Dave Mobile, and he knew Rex because they went to church together. And I had no idea. I went, "You know Dave?" And so he's also from my neighborhood, Rex Carroll, Chicago suburbs. So I was just like, "Oh yeah," and we talked about Chicago pizza and all this other fun stuff. So it was fun. But we're old school, but we're not old school because we are picking bands like yourself and many other bands like Autumn Eve and Matt Sassano, and these are young people. You're all young people, but you're reaching this generation that needs to hear your message.
Yes.
Because I mean it's really all over, isn't it? You're hearing about young people depression. They feel a lack of self-esteem. I mean, look at how social media, they want to be liked, and so they, it's just, and they're constantly taking selfies, and so it's this young generation that really needs Jesus in the big way.
And I will say, like, I've seen a lot of encouragement in that aspect. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that it's like almost trendy to be a Christian, but I have seen a lot of Gen Zers like actually desire relationship with Christ. Like,
Yes.
we played Life Fest, and Josiah Queen is really popular in CCM right now, and
Mm-hmm.
Kathy and I were backstage, like getting our makeup on, and he was kind of doing a little interview, and the whole arena was completely crowded, and everybody was just so excited. He wasn't even playing yet; like they just wanted to hear what he had to say, and he was so encouraging them, about following Christ and making that what your life is about. And so, I will say, like there has been a good resurgence of, not that Christianity is like cool, but it's like we actually long to have a relationship with Jesus because it's the real thing. We tried these other things even in our young age, and it's like not satisfying, but like Jesus actually, So that is
Yeah.
encouragement that it's happening in both kind of the rock and metal world and in CCM too as well.
And those
Right.
sorts,
Yeah.
those sorts of issues, like I think we see them a little bit more prevalently among the younger generation, like Gen Z and Gen A, because of the internet. But so many people in every generation are struggling with depression, are struggling with wanting to be liked, with addiction. I think it just manifests itself a little bit more prominently since the younger generation put themselves more out on social media, which I would argue in that respect is a good thing because they're not hiding it away.
That's
There's,
true.
there's that verse. Michael and I yesterday he was playing at a church and a different church, and so I went with him. He's currently on crutches. He pulled a muscle starting a mosh pit. Yeah. Yeah. But one of the verses talked about, I'm not going to say it exactly, but just like when you isolate yourself, like the bones. What is it?
Girl, I don't know. I got nothing.
The bones supply or something like that. Like, but together, when we share about our struggles and be vulnerable with God and the body of believers, then we're able to overcome these things together. And so I would say that social media is great for that because people feel like they can open up and get help out there.
It's kind of like, it reminds me of this tells us our age again, but we had a generation back in the Jesus revolution, so to speak. You've of course heard of the movie, all right, but guess what? I remember that as a kid. my parents would have a Bible study with all these hippies coming into our house. I kid you not. They had one guy looked like Jesus. I asked my dad, "Is that Jesus?" Because his hair was down to here. He had just the jeans and and the fringes. He had all these fringes on his coat. But it was hippie days. But they were into Jesus, and in a good way. But the thing is that that's starting to happen again, and I would agree with you guys on that because I'll give you an example. Charlie Kirk, God bless him. We know he's in heaven and everything, but what did he start? This thing among college-age students, young people, even high school, but he got them going a different direction because he shared his faith and wasn't ashamed to do that and stood up. And now these young people are standing up and sharing their faith because of
Right.
Charlie.
And
You know.
he offered a platform that allowed people to ask questions, which
Hmm.
I was praying about earlier because I was like, I think a lot of people get scared because they are afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
And it's like,
Hmm.
God's not afraid of our doubt. God's not afraid of our questions. We should, he's an open handed father who
Hmm.
wants us to come and ask some questions, and then find the truth in his word. And so, like, we ask a lot of hard questions in your music. We try to,
Yes.
like, what does it feel like to be in a domestic violence situation and cry out to God? What does it look
Hmm.
like to have grown up in a home of abuse and just gone through trauma after trauma and still trust that God is still good?
Yep.
How does God still love me after everything I've been through? So, offering a platform to be like, hey, look, it's okay, and God's not afraid of your hard questions. We really try to do that as well.
And Meg and I were responding in the comments of one of our videos today on Facebook because, like, it's whenever you put yourself out there online,
People have opinions.
people have opinions of which you might not necessarily agree with sometimes, but that's okay. And this person said that it was a shot of us at Life Fest in Wisconsin about a month ago or so, and they said, "Oh, this is unbiblical," and it's always a toss up, like whether you want to engage with somebody and get in a flame war online, but also our whole purpose as a band is to uh, show hope and faith in Jesus through those hard situations and point to Him and give people hope and a place
Amen.
of faith and this person was saying like what we're doing is unbiblical and Meg and I were both saying like just because like we're not we're not standing in one place like on stage and singing hymns it shouldn't look it's okay to look different to reach the people we need to who may never darken the door of the church who may have experienced some church hurt or maybe like they didn't grow up in a way where access to a church was encouraged and so like our whole point of it as a band is to go to those different places and encourage people to seek that relationship with
Hmm.
God. And one way we can do that is by starting this conversation, and then we want to point them to a church that is healthy and open.
They can be part of local.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Now, hey, we have a song that you guys want me to play here today or tonight. Dark in Me. Now, what I want to do is before I start playing it, tell us first what it's about, so everybody kind of has a clue of what it's about. And anybody has the floor, you can go ahead and tell us.
It's about anger.
About being really angry. It's kind of a long story, but Greg and I were in the music industry. We were part of this band for a long time.
A different band.
Well, no, this.
Whoa, yeah.
And Kyle ended up stepping away for a while to take over his dad's company. It was just Greg and I and our bass player, and we actually got approached by some other musicians to kind of pursue a project with them. We prayed about it. We found advice. We felt like God told us to go, so we did. We quit our jobs, put all our stuff in storage, dedicated our whole life to just doing the music thing full time, and we recorded a whole record, took photos. We're trying to get ready to showcase it for a label, and about 4 or 5 months in, and the bottom fell out, and it felt like the whole team had turned on us, and it made I was the bad guy. I wasn't working hard enough. I wasn't losing weight fast enough. I didn't dress sexually enough, and I was floored because I'm like, this isn't why I got into this. I got into this to worship the Lord and to bring hope to people, not sell sex and be your version of whatever a rock star is. And I was just really discouraged, and we fought for about 3 or 4 weeks in this tumultuous situation. And then finally, after some really drastic measures on my part, we stepped away. And they took the whole record and all of our music, and I was angry. To like I don't think I've ever been that angry before because I had literally given up my whole life to pursue this. I felt like it's what God told me to do, and then the bottom fell out, and I lost everything. We lost all our money. We were living on a friend's futon in their apartment, and I had no job. We had nothing, except our faith and each other. And like, what do we do now? Like I don't know. And so every time I would think about the situation or about them, I would just feel this like raging anger inside of me. That like I wanted to hurt them. I wanted them to know how much they hurt me, but I was trying really hard to not react that way because I knew that that wasn't godly. But it was like, how do I honor God with this, but still wrestle with this like deep anger at what happened to us? And so it was about 2 years of processing through all of that I felt like I was finally able to get to a place where I could think about them and not just like detest them and actually be like, they're still a child of God. God still loves them. Even if we weren't meant to do this together, like, and what they did wasn't okay, it doesn't mean that I can hold this against them. So the song was like a big confession of me to God saying like, I don't want you to know that I'm angry, which is dumb because God can see everything, right?
Yeah.
But it's this idea of like anger and bitterness can kind of get under your skin and sit there and resonate in your heart and ruminate. And then once it's grown, can lead to death because that's what the Bible says. And
Yeah.
so, like I was just wanting to get rid of it. And in the bridge, I'm basically screaming at the devil because I'm like, you lie. You tell me this is okay. You're telling me that being angry is fine, but it's not. It's going to lead to death, and so I've got to let it go. And so that's where this song was heard from.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
a great story, though.
Well, I'm sorry.
Hey, it was
Great
well worth
story
hearing.
because, I think we can all relate in some part of our lives, right? So
Yeah.
here it is, Dark and Me.
Settles in underneath my skin, and I feel it taking over me. My hands are shaking, I'm overtaken by this bitterness that's unrelenting. Didn't want you to see this side of me. Didn't want you to know I'm angry. Could you help me see the light of day? I need you to come heal the dark in me. Would you heal the dark in me? Like a familiar friend, it's intimate, taking roots deeper every day. I don't wanna give in, but I keep feeding it. Why don't you just let go? Oh, just let go. Didn't want you to see this side of me. Didn't want you to know I'm angry. Could you help me see the light of day? I need you to come heal the dark in me. Would you heal the dark in me? All you do is steal from me.
cool.
Yay.
And that was sick. That was cool.
I think you guys got another new fan. You guys are gonna laugh at this. Well, during that thing, I'm out on my porch and we have a groundhog out here. He's peeking head out twice. Come running around to listen more, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Was he headbanging?
I think he might have been, but I think I caught him, and then he got kind of shy, and then he went back where he was hiding.
You're in Buffalo, right?
Oh my goodness!
It was a groundhog, you said?
It was a good old woodchuck, that big old
Oh.
one. And he popped his head out, and he was looking at me. I'm like, hi, and then he walked away, and then he popped out again. I'm like,
Yes. You want to see?
New fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
You said you're in Buffalo, right?
yeah, just outside of Buffalo.
I did my undergrad in Rochester.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So Michael and I were just talking to somebody the other day about that we need to take them to Niagara Falls.
Okay, that's about from where I live. That's about an hour away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
Never been.
I missed that area. Well, I was gonna say they were saying that a friend of ours from here is moving out to New York. They're moving to the city, to New York City, but it's been a long time since I've been there, and we were talking about making a trip out there. And I said, well, there's this music festival there that maybe hopefully next summer we might be able to go there, and I can take all these people to Niagara Falls.
oh, you guys come out, you let me know, and hey, I'll be more than glad to show you guys around and stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I so miss that area of the country. It's so beautiful, especially in the summer. But I also love the snow, and I miss the snow.
It was nice.
Snow's okay. I wish it wouldn't stay as long as it does sometimes.
That's why
When you move away, though, I promise you miss it. Well, I do.
I believe it.
I truly do.
Yeah, I miss snow too. I'm from the north originally. I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, lived in Enfield, Connecticut, and then we moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We used to in Pennsylvania we used to get a ton of snow.
Yes.
And and then I moved to Chicago. Lake effect snow. So I was used to cold. Yeah, I'm used to cold.
That's so funny too, because my mom's side of the family is from that area of the country too, like Springfield, Mass, and also she was born in Connecticut, and then they moved to Michigan. So also lots of snow. So that's so funny about small world.
Yeah, I remember snow over my head when I was a kid. It was like,
Yes.
I love snow right now because he's been working in the sun and it's like 90 to 100 here right now.
Yes.
oh, yeah. No. I'm just not a hot temperature person. I hate. I don't know.
I was born and raised in Texas, so I'm like used to.
We're reptiles.
Yeah, we're reptiles. We live in our terrarium.
Yeah, well, New Mexico. What's good about New Mexico when we were out there and lived there? It was a dry heat. And it would get cool if not cold at night. So I love that. It was a little of both, you know. And if I wanted cool weather, I could go to Colorado, which was right next door to us. So
that's where I'm from.
Yep. I love the Rockies, and so I could just go up there and just say, "Oh, it feels so good here."
Yeah, so nice there.
Yeah, but hey, it was a great song, though. Anyway, I can totally relate to it because of what you're saying about it. Yeah, there are times I get mad and you know, or angry at God, or things are not going the way I want them to go, and I said, but you know, then the Holy Spirit convicts us, doesn't he? Then we get to a point where I go, I'm sorry, Lord, about my attitude. So, because I get so mad, I'm starting to like throw things. So we can all relate because we live in the flesh, don't we? So.
Yeah.
So it's, but God knows that about us, and it doesn't surprise him in the least. So,
And I think God would rather us come to it and confess it to Him,
yeah.
and bring it to Him, than try and hide it and fight it in our own strength, because we just can't. You know, I tried
No.
so hard in my own strength to do it, and I just couldn't. You know, and finally, when I was like, letting go of this doesn't make what happened to me okay, but it makes
Mm-hmm.
me obedient to what you've asked, so that I don't have this in my heart and I can move on. You know. And I think that's a hard line for some people. They think like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I forgive them, that makes it okay. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
let go, that means what happened to me was all right. And that's not true. Forgiveness is more about your heart and your relationship with God than it is necessarily about the other person changing or confessing their wrongdoing to it. So,
Right. Right.
mhm.
That's so true. And, like I said, I think a lot of people can relate to these things. And young people and old people like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but,
I know I can relate big time
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Craig knows, I lost both my parents. I lost my
Mm-hmm.
dad in 21 and I lost my mom in 24. And when I lost my dad, I kind of like sealed myself off, which was a mistake. I didn't want anybody to get close to me. And then I had bands come around me and stuff, and I was struggling and was my diabetes and everything. And then when I lost my mom, I was like, I'm not closing myself off this time, And but what I did is I kept myself going, and instead of resolving what I was facing, I pushed it down. Like mom wouldn't want me to be crying, dad wouldn't want me to be crying right now. I gotta hold it together. I gotta be strong for my family, because everybody was looking to me to be the strong one. And let me tell you, that's a heavy burden
Yeah.
if
Yes.
you're trying to do it on your own. And I
Yes.
kept
Mm-hmm.
pushing it down, and it came out after my wife got sick. And when I nearly lost her, I kind of like hit my breaking point, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I learned to reach out, and I learned to, let go and let God
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's something I want to relay to people. If you're hurting because of a loss, or whether it be a job or family member, reach out to a close friend, and you know, and they're not going to have the answers, but they know the person who has the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. You know, we got to come together and be there for each other, be that shoulder, be that, that be be somewhat of a rock, but sometimes rocks crumble.
Yeah.
And I realize that, and that's why I yeah, I have to wear a facade, but let me tell you, at the end of the day, when I step out of that ring, I step out in that parking lot, I'm just like everybody else.
Right.
And I want people to realize that I don't have it all together. Believe me, I've had so many jobs over the years and so many mistakes I've made, but you know what? God's using that my past as my testimony, and he's using my future as the chapter that hasn't been written yet
Yeah.
Right.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, we can relate, my brother Robbie and I lost my father in January of this year. And, but he lived, God gave him 10 years because the doctors didn't give him 10 years. Interestingly enough, he had prostate cancer. And that's what he was supposed to have died from. But that's not what he died from. Interestingly enough, it was his heart finally in the end. But he passed in this. This is the story. My dad was in this hospice home, and he's been a godly man all his life. He gave me, my mom gave me this Bible that he has, so I can see the kind of life that he lived. Well, of course, I saw it all the time, but now I know, looking through his notations and underlined verses and all those things, it really gets me closer to knowing who my father was as a man of God. But the thing is, he was in this hospice home, and and he was starting to fade. I mean, he was unconscious most of the time. But my sister had music playing for him, and it was, the Gaither music. My dad really loved Gaither music, a lot of the Gaither homecoming music. And they had How Great Thou Art, and it played, the whole song played, and the nurse that was there was a Christian woman and holding my dad's hand. And this is a story she relayed to us, and she said, when the song had finished, my father passed from here to heaven.
Wow.
And that was it, with the song How Great Thou Art. So, that touched us all, it just to hear that. But at the same time I shed tears, I have joy, and I know that my Father's in heaven.
Yes.
And it won't be long until we see him, right, Rob?
Amen to that. I can't wait for that family reunion. I don't know about you, but I don't know. My daughter and I got a joke running. It's like, who's going to make it to my dad's arms first? I said, well, if you run to your grandpa, which she called Boompa, both my kids, Sheldon and Paige, both called Grandpa Boompa and Grandma Lolo, because my mom's name was Lois.
Oh,
They called her Lolo. I said, well, if you're beating me, I'm just going to run into Jesus's arms. Then that's all right by me. If I see you getting ahead to Boompa, that's fine. I'm going to run straight to Jesus then.
That's right.
Either way, I'm running into the arms.
yes.
That's all the way I look at it. And, and that's something that I can take, joy in it, knowing that my mom and dad were reunited, because dad died a week before their 65th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And mom got sick. She made it 3 years and 24 days. But what was hard with mom is dad, we knew, we had a week, but mom had happened within less than 24 hours. She was gone. And trying to, hold it together for people, for my family, when the doctors are giving me the news and they're like, what do you want? I said, I want to wait till everybody in the family that can be here. Because, I'm the youngest of two, my brother Hank and stuff. And, trying to find the words that day. And I was so thankful that our interim pastor, Pastor Margaret, was there, and the doctors and the nurses were there, and they're like, well, first off, we want you to know that your mom has made this decision that she doesn't want extra care. She just wants to go home. And that was hard for me to let go.
Yeah.
But the way we kind of joked about it, my goal, and maybe it's silly, but see, my dad died at 3:00 in the afternoon. I wanted my mom to make it past 3:00 in the morning. And God answered that prayer, because she passed away at 3:20 in the morning.
Sweet moments. Yeah.
And, just to be there holding her hand. And I was there for both mom and dad when they both went on to their eternal reward, And I remember my mom, we had a moment, when she was still with it. I said, Mom, this is going to be hard. She goes, I know it's going to be hard, but you'll get through it, and sometimes I hear those words and I have a bad day and I'm like, we're going to get through it. We're going to get through this.
I was listening to a podcast a couple years ago that was talking about walking through really hard things. And she was like, in the Lord's Prayer, it says, give us this day our daily bread.
Yep.
I'm not needing the weekly bread. I don't need the daily bread. I need the daily bread. Like right today. I need what I need today. And God, I need you to, sometimes I just need you to get me to the next hour.
The next moment. I get you.
Like I like once we get there, then we'll tackle the rest. But
right.
It was like, well, get on the other side. She's like, I'm so grateful for God walking through that experience with me, because I was so much more fortified, and I trust God so much more because I know it was Him who sustained me, the whole time. So sometimes when I feel overwhelmed or like there's too much going on, and I'm like, I just need to throw everything in the trash and do. I have to hyper focus and be like, okay, God, what do I need to do today? Like, what are you sustaining me to do today? You know,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Meg, I'm always seeing you on TikTok there and your little, it's- all the things you're doing and stuff, and I get a kick out of it. I mean, I enjoy it. So it kind of encouraging.
Huh?
It's encouraging. I mean, you make me smile and laugh
Oh,
with some of
good.
the stuff.
Well, it's like TikTok is not our generation's thing, but
Right.
we're learning.
Yeah.
And some of it feels really cringy to me because I'm like, this
Yeah.
is stupid. But the response I've gotten, I'm like, they don't see it as cringy.
Yes.
They see it as like just connecting with someone. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to get out of my way
Yes.
and be like, I'm just viewing it as an opportunity to share the hope in just a different medium. So
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. I just.
my kids like filming the metal mama ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like,
I'm
okay, you
sure.
gotta start headbanging now.
Ah, yeah.
Also, force your kids to do anything. They want to do it.
They want to do it.
Yeah.
They're not camera shy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like
I still-
headbanging, but I don't have the air for it. But that's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You see you.
It-
Fine.
Hey, by the way, I usually like to share this, and I'm going to share it with you all. There's a friend of mine named Martha Nixwade, and she heads up a Quarter Blue, which is for victims of sexual crime, and they are our sponsor. And okay, and basically, if you guys want to know something about them, here's the. See if I can get it on here. Yep. A Quarter Blue Trauma Recovery Center. They're out of Orange, California, but she will come to wherever you are to talk about this very delicate subject. But A Quarter Blue, they take in children that have been sexually abused, teenagers, others, or even adults that are still dealing with the trauma of it. So A Quarter Blue is an excellent organization. I will tell you that they're trying to get state funding,
Oh, wow, that's great.
but California cut them off at one point. They cut them to 60%. Now they totally cut them off. She's reapplied, but you're talking California, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You need to really pray for them, and I will say that if you don't support them, pray for them. Or Quarter Blue is a great organization. I support them. By the way, Martha Nixwade was from an old television series called The Waltons. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But it was on in the 1970s up to the 1980s. Oh, I'm frozen there. Look at me. Oh, no, I got to get that off the screen. Get off the screen. There you go. But yeah, she played Serena Burton, who was a cousin of the Waltons. And she also was on Days of Our Lives. She made some acting things that she did throughout her childhood. And she actually has a story of when she was sexually abused as a child. It was someone in their church, of all things.
Yeah.
And, so she has a book about it and all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to know anything about her organization or about Martha, you can go to that address that I had up there and the phone number. It's www.aquarterblue.org. And check them out. And I always say something for her on that, just because I really think that it's a worthwhile nonprofit organization that are helping these girls and boys that have been sexually abused. So, so I thought I'd share that in this moment. We have to ask you, where are you going to be next? You're moving around, right?
Yeah, we're going to Ohio next. So Labor Day weekend on September 5th. we'll be in Circleville, Ohio, which is kind of near Columbus. That's the biggest town near there. And
Okay.
it's the second year of the festival, and we're really excited to meet a lot of bands that we've played with before and other bands that we haven't. And so there's 5 stages. It's going to be a really big one. We're super excited about that.
Cool.
Good. That you've got. I think I saw that too. Matter of fact, I know where that is. I've traveled up through that area, so.
It is free.
Yes,
So
it's
if you
free.
guys are in the area, check out Immersion Music Festival.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's all sorts of different kinds of music too. It's not just metal and rock.
Yeah.
There's hip hop. There's
Acoustic,
Yes.
CCM kind of stage, and then kind of more like mainstream. So yeah, there's a good mix for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, okay. That's always good too. I mean, I remember, speaking of going to Cornerstone, it was a Cornerstone Festival. He's shaking his head. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. That.
we heard a lot about
Okay.
you.
I used to volunteer out there, and because Jesus People were good friends of mine, and the Jesus People of USA, and matter of fact, that was where my rock band recorded their album. It's at Glenn Kaiser's Resband Studios. And so the thing is that I was there, and it had multiple types of music.
Yeah.
They had one of my favorite, this Scots-Irish group called The Crossing, and they play the pipes, bagpipes. They have a fiddle, violin, whatever you want to call it. They had that. And that gal has passed away just this last year, which I was real sad about. But they were a whole group of just Scots-Irish music, and I'm Scots-Irish, and so I loved it. I always saw them every year. I had to go and watch them. Yeah. And everybody would get up and dance in a circle just like they do in Scotland and Ireland.
Oh,
So,
not a much.
Not a circle pit. Different circle pit.
Yes.
yeah, it was great times. But I was a lot younger, but I still remember them. I even had them on my podcast, and I'm gonna have to get a couple of them back on. But they did lose their fiddle player, and she was just superb. She really was a violinist, but she did fiddle as well. And because it's the same instrument, we all know that.
Texas, so we have fiddle in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Alabama song.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Michael.
About $1,000.
oh wow.
Or differences, a violin you keep in a case,
Oh,
a
yeah.
fiddle you keep in a bag.
That's right.
One burns burger, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard these scripts.
Probably because
Yeah, a fiddle's got a lot of twang. Like,
That's great.
but you know what's so funny though is the fiddle came from the land of Ireland, okay, and came here. And so a lot of your Scots-Irish influence was in the country music that you hear, like down south.
Yeah.
That was Scots-Irish music, but it turned into something a lot different.
Yeah.
Now we got violin floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one
So.
of our songs, The Fight, I have started to do some fiddling with another Christian cover band that Michael and I are in that travels to Spain on music mission trips every other year. And that band, we do a lot of different styles because we play outside to draw people in, and then we work with local churches all around Spain while we're over there. And so in all these different styles, I had to learn some fiddling because we do different genres. And so Michael and I, our first training is in classical music. So that was quite a hurdle for me to learn how to fiddle. But in our song, The Fight, I have the main violin riff that I play in the verses is kind of fiddle inspired. And so it's fun to kind of meld those styles together.
Yeah.
And full band, like we have such a wealth of different musical ideas. That's what's so fun about all five of us being together. That it's not just like one person who writes the music and we take what they say and go. Like we're all part of it, and so it's so fun to put that all together, all our different creativities together.
Hey, you know what cowboy rocked it out on fiddle? Charlie
Bob,
Charlie Daniels.
oh yeah, him
Charlie
too.
Daniels. He was a believer, matter of fact, and I got to see him a couple times in concert. But that man, even when he was old, I'd seen him a year before he died. Okay, this just tells you how much God blessed him. And he was playing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." Of course, we all know
Yeah.
that one, right? But when he was doing his fiddling, he was just as good as when he was young. Then as an older man, and I'm telling you, I said it. You wouldn't believe he's that old, and that was incredible. And I'm glad I saw him before he died because it was shortly before he had passed away. But Charlie Daniels, he was a rock. They called him hillbilly rock because they were a little more rock than they were country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved Charlie Daniels. He was just awesome, and he was a real cowboy.
I agree with you on that one, Papa Bear.
Yeah, he was just a rocking cowboy.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, if we were just talking fiddles, so it made me think of him. You know, I should ask you, can you play that on fiddle?
I'm sure I
Kathy?
can. I've never
I
tried.
could try. I could learn it.
It's one of those as a violinist you get asked about a lot, but it took a while for me to accept the fact that it's okay to be a nerd.
Uh-huh.
It's okay to enjoy different types of music. Like sometimes in the classical world, I know you've probably never heard this before, but sometimes it can be a little snobby. And
Oh,
so,
for sure. I know that.
No way. I would never have thought that.
Never
Yeah.
felt that way with Kathy around.
and so so it was hard for me to kind of break out of that kind of stereotype, which it's not true. It's like musicians, everybody here and in the classical world, like love all different types of music. But it took a while for me to be like, okay, I'm a nerd. It's okay for me to be a nerd in more than just classical and go into fiddle and different types of music like that. So there was just a time where I would turn up my nose to that. And thankfully, like God broke me out of that. I had a wonderful teacher during my master's in Cleveland, who said, "Kathy, everybody, the Cleveland Orchestra, which he was playing in, he said everybody in the Cleveland Orchestra is a huge nerd. That's how we got to where we are." And I was like, "Oh, right."
That's right.
Yeah. So no, I've never played it, but I probably should. I should probably learn it.
Yeah, no. I can tell you one thing. He was moving fast when he got to those parts where he had to. I'm just like, holy cow!
And then we're gonna go listen to it as soon as we get off.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna make Kathy learn it tonight. All of it.
Yeah, and if you do, let me know.
Exactly.
Hey, put it on TikTok or something.
Yeah, we'll make it. Hey, Kathy,
Okay.
intense fiddle song in an hour.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. I'm holding you to it, Kathy. Let's see if you do it. No, that'll be cool if you do that. But just know that Papa Bear said, "Try it, man. Try it."
Yeah. We'll tag you in it. See where the inspiration.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Yeah, I'm serious. This I got to see, or hear too.
Right.
So, hey, guys, it's been great tonight. I'm glad you came on the show. I'm glad we could play your song. I'm glad we could talk about some things that are important to us, right? You know, I think, that's the difference between us and the world. We have greater things to speak about, it just is wonderful to be able to share about our faith in Christ and what he's done for us, and I'm glad you guys can come on and do that. We just pray for. We're going to always be praying for you. We pray for the bands, all the bands. Just lift them up in prayer, because God wants to use you, and we need to pray for you. So anyway, with that being said, hey, one of you want to close us in prayer? And I'm letting any of you choose, just one person.
Sure, yeah.
Very good, Scott.
I'll pray.
Okay. Sounds good.
Gracious Lord, thanks so much for who you are and what you do for us each and every day. And then you give us our daily bread. And we're thankful for Papa Bear and Big Dog. And we just thank you so much for having them invite us on and get to share our music. And we're glad that we fans and that we love our music, and we love that you've instilled this in our hearts. And we just pray that you would bless those that listen to it, and that they would ultimately come to know you. And even if they're struggling, even if they're fighting through something in their family, that God, you are there protecting us from the enemy that's at the door. And we just thank you so much for what you do, and we just pray that we would be safe in our travels, and that you would be preparing the hearts for those that we need to talk to. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And guys, good night. We love you. And
Thank you guys again.
Thank you guys.
Sending
don't
love.
forget,
Yes.
don't forget the devil went down to Georgia. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
Everybody say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Come on.